Whoever receives you receives me. And whoever receives me receives him who sent me. Now, for a few moments, I want to focus on what this word receives means here in verse 40. When he's talking about that, he's saying there's going to be people out there who will receive you and your message. And since they receive your message, they are receiving the Lord. So the message is very simple. We, individually, can become an agency of people receiving God himself through the message that we bring, that is the saving gospel message. On one hand, our contact can generate antagonism, but yet on the other hand, there is the marvelous reality of people receiving God through us. I want you to think for a moment. How many people have you helped lead to Christ? I want you to picture just one of those people. Can you see them? Can you hear them talking? You have pleasant thoughts of that person. I'm sure you do. I want you to think of that person who you've helped lead to Jesus and how God was working through you. Because he was. And he still is working through you. Just a weak, frail human being, but he is using you as the conduit to get his message through to that other person. Wow. That's humbling. That is so humbling to me to think, because I think of me and all my weaknesses and all my struggles and all the things that I go through, but yet God thinks enough of me to use me to share the greatest message that's ever been given. And not only me, but you. You can be a blessing to others through your discipleship. Look at verse 41. The one who receives a prophet because he is a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. And the one who receives a righteous person because he is a righteous person will receive a righteous person's reward. What does that mean? How many of you have been reading verse 41 of Matthew 10 for most of your life and sit there and kind of scratch your head going, what does he mean by all this? Well, hopefully I can help you today to find the meaning of this. When you go out representing God and sharing him by your words and actions, those who receive your message receive the reward that you will receive. Does that make sense? That's the principle. That's a divine principle. And so again, as disciples, we become a means of providing blessing to others. And so when some will be alienated by our message, but yet others will receive the very same reward that God has promised to the one who preaches it or teaches it. Look, I have heard people in my years of ministry come to me and say, I don't understand what my purpose is. I just don't know why I was put here. I haven't figured it out yet. Tell you what your purpose is. Your purpose is to be a blessing to others by sharing the good news of Jesus. Amen? That's your purpose. And it doesn't have to be through some program. It doesn't have to be through some 5-step method. It can be just through you telling others what Jesus has done for you. That's what we do. We are blessings for those that we come into contact with. You want to make a difference in this world? You stand up for Jesus. You want to make a difference in this world? You confess Jesus before men. You stand up boldly. You be unashamed. You let your life become the source of their reward. Verse 42. Whoever gives one of these little ones even a cup of cold water, because he is a disciple, truly, I say to you, he will by no means lose his reward. Listen, those who receive our preaching, if they respond even in the simplest way, in just the giving of a cup of cold water, Jesus says, he's saying they will by no means lose the reward. And so the good that is done, that we do to the messenger who brought us the gospel, that will be rewarded. Go back to verse 41. He says prophets and righteous people there. in that verse. And a lot of times we think of them as maybe being higher ups in the kingdom. I'll tell you, it's not so much about that. When he looks, when he says little ones down there in verse 42, he's talking about you and me. We're not higher ups in the kingdom. We're not prophets. We're righteous people. But it's not so much about place or position. It's about the reception of the message we bring. And no matter how little, or no matter how insignificant, or no matter how new you may be to kingdom living, you can be a light to others and share with them the most precious message that's ever been given and help someone else become the disciple they need to be. That's the message.